Dear Journal, in my earlier entries I talk a lot of trash about New Jersey, but I always find myself coming back to this general area along the Wikipedia Creek, a name derived from a Lenape word for where there are birch trees, which is kind of a boring name and sounds like the Lenape name giver just didn't care when he got to this point. Let me see, just gotta name these things here before I can go to the party. Where there is water, done. Where there is dirt, done. Where there are birch trees, done. Okay, that's a day. Off to where there are loose women. Hey, if I can't roleplay as a young, horny Native American cartographer's assistant, then what is even the point of having a YouTube channel? Last time I was here, loads of cairns. Our ancestors used them for memorials and navigation, but modern man does it to say, I'm bored and I live in a state that has legal recreational marijuana. Regardless, it's always nice when a new cache pops up in the area to give one a good excuse to walk alongside the water, taking in the sights nature has to offer. For some reason, there's a seafood recipe written on this part of the bridge. I am hungry. All I have is a $20 bill and a cheese stick. For the record, I could live on geocrack alone for several days. But geocrack honestly makes everything else taste better, even rubbery low-fat mozzarella cheese sticks dipped in yellow mustard. Going as I did when I didn't have to contend with a difficult water crossing. In fact, I was able to sit down in the middle of the creek and let the Wikipedia teach me something about myself. Namely, I cannot tie my shoes with gloves on. Just can't do it. It is there that I will enjoy my victory cheese stick after finding this cache. Right. I don't know if you can tell, Journal, but I've been here for a little bit. I'm trying not to have a geocacher meltdown where I just get angry at my inability to find things and I'm not sure where to direct my rage. Inward? To my device? No. It's difficulty 4 for a reason, yes? No, I don't even know what it is anymore. I'll get back to you. Oh man, that's trash. How do you even get your trash stuck in here? Oh! The fuck is this? Holy hand grenade?
How does it work?
Oh, it's one of these things. If you are not familiar, this is a 3D printed cylinder maze, and if you believe everything you see in videos, then you'll believe that I opened this pretty damn fast, which I did. I have no reason to lie. I signed it and put everything back the way I found it. Well, whoops. Okay, there we go. That was significantly easier when you have the touch like I do. Yes, my Hasbros will know what's up with this song. It's from the 1986 Transformers movie. Yo, I just did that Transformer noise with my mouth. I know you're impressed. Let me ask my fellow Gen Xers this. When you think about the animated Transformers, do you remember this scene?
Look! It isn't even dented! Oh shit, what are we gonna do now?
Whoa, I'm sure the version I saw as a kid did not have that in it. Does that version also have the Transformers themselves cursing? Because I would love to hear Optimus Prime say, "Bumblebee, you ignorant yellow shit." Sorry, I do make myself laugh. Any road, bit of a tangent there, I know, but I believe a cheese stick is in order. Well, good news is, found the cache. Bad news, I don't know where my cheese stick is, and I was really looking forward to that thing, man. Even worse news, it was in my bag all along, just hidden in a fabric crevice. Geocacher indeed. Shout out to all my fellow humans that have ever had to pull a foot or 3 of hot mozzarella strands from your esophagus while trying not to choke to death. How you doing? A lack of cheese reward is something I and stupid lab rats across the globe find frustrating, but not as frustrating as a DNF which occurred during this windy, snowy day. My fault though, I thought I could find a normal sized cache in the snow, but I failed to take into consideration that I'm an idiot that read the cache page wrong, and it was in fact a micro, and I have no patience to search for a micro in this biting weather. But at least I got this neato seasonal footage of this empty shack where I share my awesome idea for a game. Game, if you have a podcast, steal this idea if it hasn't already been done. The Rot 13 game, you know? You just put some Rot 13 up on the screen, and the first person to decipher it wins. I'd watch that for a couple minutes. Rot 13 is a geocaching standard, and most cachers know it as a Caesar cipher, which involves shifting each letter of a message by a set number of letters. Apparently, Julius Caesar used it as one of his methods to protect his messages, and, interesting fact, a lot of people don't know, but I have a cipher named after me. The Skimbosh cipher. Well, you know, cipher, skin rash, practically the same thing. The Rot in Rot 13 is short for rotisserie, which is where Caesar got the idea to rotate the letters in a delicious fashion. Speaking of tall tales, I solved a mystery cache and it turned out to be a ladder cache as well, and if there are a lot of ladder required caches around me, I haven't seen them. But Skimbosh, you're doing one right now. But what if I told you I did it without opening my eyes? I mean, you can see that I have my eyes open. What if I told you I did it without reading any of the safety or precautionary stickers applied by the ladder company, huh? Impressive, I know. Ancient Egyptians and modern gullible people believe that the triangle is sacred, and walking through a triangle shape is bad luck. But I'm here to tell you, if you walk under a ladder, first check to see if it has a brace or utility platform near the top, and if it does, well, you're fine, because that means you actually walk through an isosceles trapezoid, and no god gives a shit about that. But if you do walk through a triangle, all you have to do to counteract the bad luck is walk backwards through the triangle and all will be well, except for the part where you believe all these weird things about triangles. Humanity really has a thing for trinities, but the only trinity I ever paid attention to was the one that activated my almonds in regards to fetish clothing and caste violence. I really painted myself into a latex corner here as far as segues into the next cache go, and I like to pride myself on those transitions, or should I say, transitions. I live in abandoned railroad track central, and if I had to choose a spot to highlight that for my journal, it would be here, since I'm already there. But now, here at home, I can view this map, verifying that I do indeed live, in a broad sense, in abandoned railroad track central, and many of them have been converted to public trails, which draws in geocache hiders like cockroaches to earwax. Yeah, no, it's true, cockroaches will crawl into human ears because they're attracted to the meaty smell of your fatty, dank earwax, and your ear canal is like a cozy little bistro to eat in it. You're welcome in regards to me not putting up any photos of that, and instead focusing on railroad tracks and the fact that right under this old train bridge is a cache located as per the hint, where all of these locks are attached to this fence. Now, the CO didn't put all these locks here. This is a phenomenon known as love locks, padlocks that couples attach to public fixtures like bridges, fences, or gates to symbolize their unbreakable love, often inscribing their names or initials and throwing the key away. Now, I thought about doing that with my wife, but without getting into too much detail, we have bad luck in the past with padlocks and throwing away the key. But look at all these, huh? I haven't seen a lockdown like this since COVID, and I built this whole entry around that joke. No, really, it never occurred to me that there would be ornate padlocks, and due to the clue and the size being small, I spent much time going over these locks only to discover that the cache is just wedged into the wall across from the locks. I'm not hating on the CO, but I must admit it was really, really disappointing that the cache was not some sort of lock or attached to a lock or behind a lock. The only thing more disappointing is finding the cache, making a big song and dance about it on camera, then forgetting to sign it before you put it back, and then sitting at home realizing that you never actually pressed record on the camera that one time. So now I have to resort to telling a story. A year or 3 ago on our geocaching, there was a post from a drone owner whose drone went down unexpectedly in some woods, and due to whatever circumstances, they were unable to get to where its last recorded position was. And they came to the subreddit to see if anyone wanted to have a go with the coordinates with a small cash reward for it being returned. I checked the coordinates and it was about 2 hours away from me, and specifically ground zero was not even a quarter mile into what looked like some thick woods, but I kinda chumped out. I told myself it didn't seem worth it, or I couldn't get away at the time. The point is, I I sort of regretted not following up on what could have been a fun little adventure and told myself if something like that popped up again, that I would seize the opportunity. Several months later, our geocaching again, and someone is asking for a pro cacher to DM them to help them find a location. While I don't have a screenshot of the original now deleted post, I do have a screenshot of the poster's response to my inquiries. A friend in another country has committed suicide in a very messy way. I have to write a letter to her family to give my condolences. Also, it is unlikely that the family knows the entire reason for what has happened. Also, it is a big possibility that a severe crime was committed to her, and I have possible proof for this on my phone. I don't want to dive any deeper into this due to the magnitude of what has happened. All I want is peace for myself and their family, and a proper punishment for the one who might have caused it. So if anyone is willing to help, then I will be more than grateful. Yeah, you know what? Despite the FOMO on the drone thing, I think I'm gonna pass on this one. I mean, there's a part of me that hoped the whole thing was a doorway to some Dan Brown-style murder mystery that would have me running around through the streets of New York in a cloud of intrigue and excitement if only I choose to walk through the doorway. But then the rational part of me thought it's more likely the only doorway I will experience is the one I wake up in after getting drugged by a delusional psychopath and having one of my kidneys removed. So as we start into the new year, let that story not just shift your attention away from my stupidity of not recording or signing that one cache by the locks, but also highlight my constant plea for all my fellow cachers who may not always be paying attention while out on the search. Be safe out there. Happy New Year.